% of people coming back from the parental leave changed jobs due to the inflexibility of the employers and the lack of work-life balance. When we talk about immigrants and people with disabilities, those are the most vulnerable groups in the labor market, and those people just can't find jobs in the first place. Those are the problems that we can solve, and public procurement could help. We just need to include those communities in the decision-making process from the very beginning. In other words, nothing about communities without them.
Public procurement is a very powerful tool because it relates to 12% of our GDP. And using that, we can address social problems and help to solve them, such as a single mother or father which has young underage children and has to balance it out with the work and life. Also elderly people which are facing challenges to get involved in the workforce, refugees from the war, and people with disability, which we have around 100,000 people which are unemployed in Lithuania.
We at Open Contracting Partnership support governments in their efforts to reform public spending using open data approaches, employing new technology, and using truly collaborative design. Our impact accelerator called Lift selected this reform here in Lithuania as the most impact-promising reform in continental Europe over the years to come. And we believe it does have a lot of promise.
We saw the opening in Open Contracting Partnership for application for the Lift project and Lift grant, and we successfully submitted and won that project. This year we are working by the help of Open Contracting Partnership to improve our IT systems in order to collect more detailed data and improve the law to address the social issues and help to solve some of the social problems throughout public procurement.
We are collaborating with more than 10 other institutions and already created social procurement criteria that public buyers can use in their procurements. We will train hundreds of public buyers and suppliers be able to actually use these criteria to help them, for example, employ people with disabilities, adopt equality policies in their workplaces, and so on. We will create a real-time data-driven scoreboard that will show us how every public buyer in Lithuania is performing. And of course, we will watch the progress and make further decisions about how to improve socially responsible public procurement in Lithuania.
The reason why we love this reform is that it really is led by a group of smart government reformers. They understand how to use technology. They know exactly what they want to track in terms of impact figures. And more important, they know what impact they are trying to achieve, including things like not only including people in public contracts, but also making sure, to the extent they can, that they actually stay within the employment places.
I think it's time we start thinking not only about transparency and efficiency of public procurement, but also if citizens in all their diversity might enjoy the works and services funded by public funds equally. And during the implementation of public procurement, did it have any positive impact on the society? Those are the two biggest questions that I very much hope we start thinking about.
Public procurement is powerful, but it cannot solve all social problems we have. So we aim to, first of all, promote the topic and make sure that all public buyers in Lithuania are aware of the power they have through public procurement. We also want to see a boost in how public buyers use these criteria, which means actually promote inclusion through their public contracts. As a result, we want more companies and institutions to consider their role in promoting inclusion. And finally, although it is not entirely in our hands, we want to see that inclusion practices stay beyond public contracts. For example, We want people who are employed through public procurement stay in their workplaces after the contract is finished.
So the way we are going to go about the reform is by employing a number of different approaches. We use open data approach to help government track their progress and hold themselves accountable against the impact figures they set. Then we use a change management mechanism that helps government to go through the pipeline of the reform. We also emphasize the focus on empathy. We really want to make sure that we work with those who are most marginalized and who are mostly affected by public procurement. And generally in Lithuania, we're speaking about single parents, we're speaking about those with disability and others who have traditionally been marginalized. We also focus on breaking the silos between institutions. We have more than 10 institutions coming together and working to tackle this problem. And finally, we want to see that all driven by new technology that allows us to track how we do, whether we are successful or whether we fall behind. And then that will let us know whether we need to do something different or just be happy about the results we achieve over the years to come.